It is Friday night, and the big story on Action News tonight is the search for two specific men wanted for planning the September 11th attacks. Police in Hamburg, Germany have issued arrest warrants for two men who lived in this apartment, along with three of the suspected hijackers, including ringleader Mohammed Atta. Police have charged 26-year-old Saeed Bahaji, a German of Moroccan origin, and 29-year-old Ramzi bin Ashib of Yemen with forming a terrorist organization and at least 5,000 counts of murder. Lawmen say they began making preparations for the attack in 1999 and that up to 20 Arab men met in the apartment 3 times a week. Meanwhile, authorities in Britain have arrested 3 men and a woman. They are now being questioned by anti-terrorism police. French authorities have arrested 7 people in an alleged plot to harm U.S. sites in that country. In New York, Attorney General John Ashcroft and FBI Director Robert Mueller visited Ground Zero today with Governor Pataki and Mayor Giuliani. Ashcroft was overwhelmed by what he saw.
It's beyond words. It's just beyond words. It really is. It's like a horror movie that just doesn't end. It's still there.
Meanwhile, Ashcroft announced there will be another $10 million in federal funds to help with police costs in New York. The numbers from the scene in New York continue to haunt the American soul. 6,333 people are still missing and presumed dead. 252 people are confirmed dead. So far, crews have removed 76,000 tons of debris, and that process is just beginning. Mayor Giuliani says the recovery and removal effort could take up to 6 months. President Bush's call for Tom Ridge to head up the Office of Homeland Security has caused seismic changes in Pennsylvania politics. And while Ridge and Lieutenant Governor Mark Schweiker tried to convince everyone that this will be a seamless transition in Harrisburg, Ridge's departure will have enormous implications. Schweiker will take the oath to become Pennsylvania's next governor on October 5th. Ridge says Schweiker will be a fine leader.
Very comfortable with Governor Mark Schweiker. I'm very pleased that the qualities that I've had the opportunity to know and to take advantage of candidly will be available on a larger and more public scale.
But some people in Philadelphia, including Mayor Street, have to be wondering what the change in leadership will mean for the school funding crisis, and how will this affect the gubernatorial campaign? Questions to be answered in the future. As for Schweiker of Bucks County, he told reporters he will have some on-the-job learning to do, but he is prepared and will do his best for the people of Pennsylvania. This was another ugly day on Wall Street, but it could have been even worse. The Dow lost more than 300 points in the first minutes of trading, but during a volatile morning, it was actually up 50 points at one point. It ended the day losing more than 140 points, and that means the Dow lost almost 1,370 points for the week. That is the largest one-week point decline in history. To put it another way, stocks have lost $1.2 trillion in value since the attacks. Action News reporter Michelle McCormack is live outside the Philadelphia Stock Exchange tonight. And Michelle, 70 million Americans invest in the stock market, and of course most, if not all, are trying to figure out what to do next.
Well, Jim, the pessimists certainly ruled this week and sold big time, but some analysts think once this weekend passes without incident, the optimists will step up to the plate.
The professionals that are in charge of the money at these big firms are, probably leading the sell-off. They're protecting their bottom line. The American public's scared.
Weary brokers and traders emerged from the Philadelphia Stock Exchange after one of the roughest weeks, if not the roughest week ever. The floor is crowded with displaced New York traders, and volume was high, an indication perhaps that while everything's dropping, people aren't staying away.
Things aren't good, but things were overinflated before. We're finally back in line to where we were back in 1997, is where we should have been in the first place.
Although the largest decline in stocks still remains October of 1987, this time around, unlike 14 years ago, the real economy took a hit because airlines shut down. Mail-in parts never got delivered. Conventions got canceled. Still, Temple University professor of economics Bill Dunkelberg says, although the chances of recession have increased,
historically it'll be a recession that has one of the highest employment rates in U.S. history, which is not a bad recession to have.
That's because there still will be consumers out there. But will they stick to essentials and quell their exuberance out of fear? That remains the question mark in these uncertain times.
I'm just spending a lot more. I guess to take my mind off of it. Like, I'm still going to the store buying junk and everything, but I'm not going in a gallery right now.
I try to keep my money in the same place and go on with my life.
Now, when trading resumes, Professor Dunkelberg says even novices should consider buying, but invest in companies that do not rely on air travel or tourism for a profit. Live at the Philadelphia Stock Exchange, Michelle McCormack, Channel 6 Action News. Jim?
Thank you, Michelle. The latest bad news from the airline industry is that Northwest Airlines has announced 10,000 layoffs. That is 20% of its workforce. If you include job cuts at Boeing, the airline industry has now lost over 100,000 jobs since the terrorist attacks. In Washington, the Senate, and just a few moments ago, the House of Representatives have overwhelmingly approved a $15 billion bailout package for the airlines. Since a week ago Tuesday, there has been increasing talk about putting armed federal air marshals on board every flight. The question is, how could a marshal fire a weapon without jeopardizing the plane and its passengers? Well, Action News reporter Vernon Odom is live at Philadelphia International with that story tonight. Vernon.
Jim, the Federal Air Marshal program started about 30 years ago, back during the days when hijackings to and from Cuba were an epidemic in this country. The Air Marshal's numbers, however, have always been relatively few, Jim, but that is changing fast, we are told by government sources. More will be flying on a daily basis from now on, armed with custom-made ammunition. Gunfire, even from law enforcement officers aboard a commercial airliner, is a widely feared scenario, especially because of the potential for putting a crippling hole in the aircraft. But in the wake of the September 11th hijackings, pilots are now talking about stun guns and perhaps heavier weaponry in the cockpit.
At one time, I would say that's outrageous, and we were totally opposed to it, but in this new threat environment, we can't take anything off the table.
Already underway is a massive buildup in the government's force of air marshals, the shadowy group of sharpshooters trained to battle hijackers without causing the plane to crash. The FAA this week began recruiting new air marshals from other government agencies. They won't say how many new hires will be coming aboard, but their presence on domestic and international flights in civilian clothes with concealed weapons has already expanded the government claims. To avoid penetrating the skin of a plane with gunfire, they're outfitted with special hollow point bullets like the Glazer safety slug, designed to kill but not puncture the aircraft and create potentially disastrous cabin depressurization. A local firearms expert explains the special bullets this way.
Bullet basically filled with tiny pellets, almost like a shotgun shell, where upon impact these pellets spread, and basically if it's hitting a live target, hitting tissue, it's going to spread, cause maximum damage, but basically not penetrate the person, and upon impact disintegrate. Whereas if it's hitting a wall or any inanimate object, it is made so that it penetrates but doesn't over-penetrate and go through that object.
Jim, most of the air marshals are trained very near here, just outside of Atlantic City. How large that force will become remains very much a state secret. Live at Philadelphia International Airport, Vernon Odom, Channel 6 Action News. Jim?
Thank you, Vernon. In Afghanistan, people are packing up and leaving the capital city of Kabul, afraid that the United States will retaliate militarily. And speaking from Islamabad, Pakistan, Taliban leaders flatly refusing to heed President Bush's demand that they give up Osama bin Laden. Taliban leaders insist they don't know where bin Laden is, and they insist that Bush's demands and an American military response could plunge the world into crisis. More local troops on the move tonight at McGuire Air Force Base in New Jersey. The 514th Security Force was called up today. They are essentially military police. Security is tight at the gates to the base as guards search every vehicle coming in. Much the same story at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, where the 512th Security Force was mobilized today. And extra security is on hand at Dover Downs, the scene of a major NASCAR race that will attract 150,000 fans this weekend. Coolers and backpacks have been banned for reasons of security. They gathered tonight at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Philadelphia, clutching candles and flags and their hearts. They offered thoughts and prayers for the victims and the families touched by the terrorist attacks. The veterans say this country is strong and united and will recover quickly. There was also a candlelight vigil in Doylestown tonight in the courtyard of the Bucks County Courthouse. This was a program of remembrance sponsored by the United Veterans of Doylestown. The theme, Proud to be an American. Students at Temple University's Ambler campus are in a race against the clock. They are trying to stay awake through the night as part of a Wake-A-Thon to benefit the Red Cross Disaster Relief Fund. Students have sponsors who are donating money for each hour they stay awake. The goal is to make it to 7 in the morning and raise at least $1,500 in the process. Still to come on Action News tonight, a star-studded night to raise money for the victims of terrorism. And Miss America moves its popular parade inside.
And Action Radar is tracking another frontal system to our west. Is it clear for the weekend? Stay with us. We've got that call from AccuWeather.
And Gary Papa with the Phillies and high school football action. It is Friday night. That and more when Action News continues.
Many like them.
It was on 30 television networks, over the air and cable, simulcast on thousands of radio stations. People like Julia Roberts, Jack Nicholson, Sylvester Stallone, Al Pacino. A telethon tonight to benefit the September 11th Relief Fund. Singers like Billy Joel perform tonight.
On the Hudson River line, I'm in the New York state of mind.
Will Smith and Muhammad Ali, a Muslim convert, made a statement against attacks on American Muslims. The event expected to raise millions of dollars. A telethon broadcast around the country tonight. The September 11th Relief Fund and the telephone number for the telethon will be operational until 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and that number 1-866-2-UNITE. Next Tuesday will be known as Victims Benefit Day at the movies. 80 movie theater chains say they will donate 100% of ticket and concession sales to attack relief efforts. After a week of hunting for survivors in the World Trade Center rubble, a local trauma specialist is back home tonight. Dr. David Jaslow of Temple University Hospital was one of the first federal disaster teams at Ground Zero. Although he has been to many disasters before, he says none like this.
There were some instances of glass flying and debris falling off of roofs of surrounding buildings. This hole was punctured in the street by a large steel beam that fell off the World Trade Center.
Jaslow was amazed by offerings from New Yorkers and beyond, a steady supply of hot and cold food and cold drinks, boxes and boxes of assorted supplies.
A city of people from all different backgrounds come together and work towards one goal, which was to try to save lives.
And so did the thank yous from school children posted on poles and boards all over Manhattan. Weekend AccuWeather forecast. Here's Dave Roberts. David?
Well, we're trying to get the cloud cover out of here. We did fairly well late this afternoon, but tomorrow we welcome fall. Hello, fall. It officially arrives tomorrow, which is, of course, the 22nd at 7:04 in the evening. Satellite and radar, take a look at it now and show you what we're watching. Again, a second frontal system, most of it now in northwestern Pennsylvania, with some cloud cover going on up into western New York, some shower activity, some thunderstorms built within it. We're going to go closer on Action Radar. And again, over the past 6 hours, we set this in motion now. You watch the second line forming, moves through Cleveland, right near the Pittsburgh area, and then it extends from Pittsburgh all the way up to Buffalo, New York, kind of falling apart as it moves in our area, but we may get a little thunder shower out of it come tomorrow. The wider picture on Action Radar again shows the movement of those systems pulling away from us there, bending back down into the Gulf here. Most of that, excuse me, is just going to be pulling out of the area. This is what we're watching now. Another tropical depression. Here is the latest on it. Tropical depression number 10, 380 miles south of Bermuda, moving to the northwest at 12 miles an hour. The winds are 30 miles per hour. Tropical depression number 10. High pressure frontal system. Well, the frontal system is through. A high tomorrow of 80 degrees. We look to Saturday. It looks like a pretty nice day. Just an iffy on that thunder shower activity. Most of those probably will go north and west. Then we look to Sunday. We're in between systems. 80 degrees around the warm side, but a very nice day. And then on Monday, looking ahead there, you see that low pressure disturbance, but we'll worry about that a little bit later on. The call from AccuWeather is it's going to be a warm weekend with temperatures about 4 degrees above normal. 55 degrees up there in the Poconos, 62 in Allentown, 63 in Reading, 69 in Cape May and Atlantic City. Up to Trent we go, 68 degrees. 67 degrees, that was our low, and 80 degrees was our high today. In the northeast, 69, 68 outside the station, 70 for Center City, 69 at the airport and also Camden. Live we go on Sky 6 to the city. Present temperature reading, 11 o'clock hour, here we go. 69 degrees. Relative humidity up to 92%. The barometer is 30.02. It's on the rise. Winds out of the south. just 7 miles an hour. The ocean temperature is 70 degrees. The exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast goes as such. Tonight we're looking for just some clouds. Overnight low 64 degrees. Tomorrow combination of sun and clouds 80 degrees. Again, an iffy chance of a thunder shower later in the afternoon. Sunday more sun. It's going to be warm. 80 degrees both days on the warm side. Mostly cloudy on Monday with some showers moving in. 76 degrees. And then we cool off for Tuesday and Wednesday. Clouds and sun. 72 degrees on both days. Some clouds coming up. A warm weekend coming up, and also fall arriving. It's here, 2001.
7:04.
Yes.
Thank you, David. Security concerns force some major changes tonight at the Miss America pageant. New Jersey correspondent Karen Rogers live in Atlantic City with that story. Hello, Karen.
Hello, Jim. That's right. This is the first year that the boardwalk parade has been canceled. They've held it in the wind and the rain and the heat. Even Hurricane Floyd didn't stop the parade, but this year, because of security concerns, they had to close it off to the public. But we brought the action can inside so you could check out these cool costumes. There were snow bunnies, butterflies, an angel, and the sun. But they were all stars at this makeshift Show Me Your Shoes parade, open only for family and friends. Miss Delaware, dressed as the state flower, didn't seem to mind.
It's better than not having it at all. It's been a lot of fun.
You didn't want to look like a spud in the Miss America pageant.
No, I wanted to look nice, but have spuds.
When Miss Nevada stepped out, trust me, no one was looking at her shoes.
I'm from Las Vegas, so why not represent the showgirls of Las Vegas? That's what everyone wants to see, right?
The contestants seemed energized by the crowd.
It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We were so thrilled, and we were so happy to be here, especially to support Miss Georgia.
Frontrunner Miss DC flaunted her patriotic colors. Miss North Dakota decorated her feet.
My mother said, "I'll give you $100 to go get some cowboy boots." And I said, "No, Mom, I'd rather give the money to the relief funds for the New York tragedies."
Miss Pennsylvania is still glowing after winning the interview award.
I feel really great going into Saturday. It's certainly a very calming award to win, so it's made me very excited.
And Miss New Jersey's costume seemed to be the crowd favorite.
It's a tribute to Atlantic City because it's the home of the Miss America parade. So I have a roll-out wheel for my skirt and chips and money and flashing lights, everything that Atlantic City is famous for.
The contestants tell me they had a great time, but they were eager to go to bed because tomorrow is the big night. A new Miss America will be crowned. You can watch it live right here on 6 ABC at 8 o'clock. And of course, I'll be around with all the highlights at 11 o'clock. And keep your fingers crossed for our local contestants. Live in Atlantic City, I'm Karen Rogers, Channel 6 Action News. Jim?
Thank you, Karen. Still to come on Action News tonight. The Phillies take it down to the wire. Gary Papa with the story when we continue in just a moment. Ninth inning drama at Veterans Stadium tonight. Here's Gary Pop.
You're going to like this. Everyone's going to like this. Phillies hosting those Florida Marlins, a tight fight all night long. This is where the game was decided. Bottom of the ninth inning, coming off the bench is Brian Hunter, right up the middle. End of ball game. Game over. Anderson scores. Marlon Anderson scores 1-0. Your Phillies. You're going to like what happens at Shea tonight. Baseball returns to New York City. It is emotional in so many ways as everybody's hugging everybody. What a great scene that is. Eighth inning, Mets are down 2-1, but there's Mike Piazza.
Center, Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run. Mike Piazza.
Unbelievable. 3-2 Mets, that's your final. Mets now just 4.5 back of the Atlanta Braves. Phillies just a half game back of those guys. Thank you, Mike Piazza. All went very well for the Eagles for their charter flight to Seattle. Security, of course, was tight, but no problems at all for those guys as head coach Andy Reid is getting ready to get on the plane. A couple injuries are of concern. Freddie Mitchell and N.D. Kalu both now listed as questionable for Sunday. Eagles take off today as a 3-point favorite, and they landed no problems. Sunday night at 11:35, we'll be on board for Total Access. Half-hour live look back at the Eagles game. Is there music tonight? Yes, there is. Here we go. Kicking off the music, roll the highlights for Friday Night Football starting up tonight. Berwyn, Pennsylvania. Strathaven at Conestoga, and Conestoga with the quarterback keeper for number 10, John DiAgostini. However, Strathaven came back to win it, 28-14. Haverford at Marple Newtown for Haverford, Ryan Kearney to Matt Klein. Escapes and goes all the way. Haverford 15-0. Norristown as they host Wissahickon. Big run here for the home team. That is James Jacobs, number 22. He goes all the way. Norristown 39-7. Upper Marion leads at Plymouth White-Marsh, but PW has the football, but not for long. Big interception right there in the fourth quarter. Upper Marion holds on to win that ball game. 24-17. Let's go to Glen Olden. Big Friday night, Chichester, Interborough. Number 5 for Interborough. Hello, Patrick Moore. Lots of hard hitting tonight as Interborough wins that ball game. 14-0. Wilmington, Delaware. Howard versus St. Elizabeth. Coming right at you, number 22. Andrew Senatier for St. Elizabeth. A monster touchdown because they hold on to win it by 1. 21-20. State of New Jersey tonight. Hello, Haddonfield on defense versus Lindenwold. Number 82 will be Mike Marcello. Big tackle there. We have the final, 48-8 Haddonfield. Washington Township at Cherokee. Home team goes 63 yards with Sean Mayers. 63 yards, but there's one problem. Holding on the play. Hold everything. That kind of night for them as they lost it. Washington Township does win 21-0. Voorhees, New Jersey. Hello. Great to see you. Shawnee at Eastern. Shawnee does it with defense. Kevin Smith, big hit right here for our camera. That's how you do it. As Shawnee does throw the shutout, 17-0. This afternoon, City of Philadelphia. Franklin at Central. Central does it with defense as they try the play here, but number 82, Quinn Donovan with a stop right there, saves the touchdown. Central wins it 30-24. North Philadelphia, Overbrook versus Dobbins, who's in the red. Big one here coming up as they split the defense. Dobbins, 18-0. Hello there. Hi, Mom. Germantown hosting Edison, and hi, Mom, because she can be proud of this touchdown run. Germantown wins it 25-0.